Listener discretion is advised.
Swallow the burp.
All right, you are listening to Wine and Crime, the podcast where three friends chug wine, chat true crime, and unleash their worst Minnesotan accents.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, jinx.
Maybe some Elizabethan accents today.
Oh.
Oh, shit. Speaking of jinx, rest in pieces, Robert Durst.
Oh, yeah.
Bobby D.
Bye-bye.
Oh, Bobby D.
Lost a real one.
Killed them all, of course.
I
Killed
killed
them all.
them all, of course.
Bye-bye. I
It's
know.
my favorite thing.
The
It's
most
so
shocking
bad.
part of that was the fact that he was just 78.
I
thought
can't.
he was easily in his mid-90s.
200.
Oh, yeah. He's foul.
Yeah.
Foul.
If you've ever watched What We Do in the Shadows,
Yes.
he's like the
Nosferatu
old,
roommate.
yes, the old vampire who's like
Living
just
in the
a
basement.
torso and a head. God, that man was old.
Obsessed. Anyway, who are we?
Oh, fuck it. I'm Kenyan.
I'm Lucy.
I'm exhausted. I'm Amanda.
I don't know what's happening. I haven't left my house in like legit 10 days, maybe more. I've lost count.
I
I've
went for a
left-
walk today, and the fresh air was jarring. It felt unnatural.
Too much.
It was
I
a
don't
lot.
like that.
I did say good morning to my mail carrier the other day, and it was 3 p.m.
Been there.
I found out later, and I was
Been there.
The sun is like setting at 3 p.m.
Yeah.
these days.
But that can make it really seem like it's morning. I get it.
Whatever. It's all a blur. I don't fucking know. Just
We've
who
had our
cares?
godson this week because there's a COVID exposure at his daycare and also everywhere.
Yeah, everyone.
Yeah.
And we love it, and I might be dying.
Yeah, Amanda took a work call the other day and at him, and he was chiming in.
He's squawking. I was like, I'm going to be a couple minutes late for this call. I'm so close to getting him down for a nap. No.
LOL.
I did get him down for a nap that time. Today, I got him down for a nap, and then Callie's click-clacks woke him up, and then I thought he just squawked and rolled over and went back to bed, but then when I went in to check on him, he'd actually just found that there were some Christmas decorations within reach that he was quietly just very much awake playing with in his crib. And then he shit his pants, and then we were just awake.
Oh, God.
So I'm fine.
I need a nap just listening to that.
Amanda, wow. You're parenting.
I
I don't know how parents do it. I
don't
truly
know
don't.
how they do it either.
Especially single parents. Like, holy fucking shit.
Yeah.
And then my dog pissed in the kitchen, and I'm like trying to drop him off to his next person who's watching him for the rest of the day, and I've got a vacuum in one hand. I was like, it is 1950, and I am not okay.
No. Give me the
Baby
amphetamines.
on my hip. Fucking shampooing
Where's
the
my
carpet.
speed to get through this day?
Yes, I don't have that. Where's my fen-fen?
Fen.
I know.
My fen-fen and my vibrating belt to really keep my waist really small for my husband.
I'm going to have
only-
coffee and a hard-boiled egg today.
Oh,
And white wine. Don't forget.
white wine,
It's like 2
yeah.
bottles of white wine.
why
and like
is
an egg.
coffee and a hard-boiled?
Incidentally, that's basically what I've had, but just because I was busy working.
Well, that's going to
And
hit your
fucking
bowels hard.
Ish, yeah, your farts must smell so bad.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Haven't seen Zach in a week.
I don't know where he is.
I'm fucking crying.
Okay.
All right, we'll get into it. So speaking of things that, times where people didn't have certain things and they were crazy times.
And they were not well.
We have a very special fan pick this week brought to you by our fan picker, Beth Roper.
She ropered us into it. Hardly know her.
And Beth has selected the very niche topic of Renaissance Festival crimes.
I'm so happy.
This one was fun.
Renfest, we are all fans of the Renfest. I haven't been in a long time. I wish
I go every year for my birthday.
I haven't been
know.
in probably 20 years, but I've got
We
good
are
memories.
not, to be clear though, fans of the owner of the Renaissance Festival.
Oh. Are
There
we
were
not?
like, I think it's under new ownership now and it's like better, but the previous one was like literally brought up on like trigger warning rape and essay charges of like staff and at the Renfest. It was
Oh.
not. It's
I
not
think
good.
I did see that, and I almost did that as my case, and then I was like, nope,
Yeah.
can't for my mental health.
Big
Not-
hard same. I was
not
like,
going
that's
there.
not where I'm gonna go.
Yeah, good.
Mhm.
Well, now that it's
But-
under new ownership, I would like to go back. It seems so fun.
It's so dusty and so fun.
The bread bowl really won me over.
We'll get to it.
In my belly. We'll get to it.
All right, well, first, let's get to our wine crime pairing. Amanda, what have you got for Renaissance Festival crimes?
Well, I have two treats for you today. And one of them is not my pairing because my pairing is trash. There was a recommendation on what to drink today, like a wine called Viking Blood. I couldn't get it. And I'm a disaster. I'm a human disaster. So there's also that. I couldn't get it for all kinds of reasons. Number one being that I'm a human disaster. So I had a grapefruit high noon in my fridge. It sounds fucking delicious. And I'm going to drink it. And I'm going to drink it out of my drinking horn
Oh my God.
that I got. Oh God, her leather chap
Her
I got-
assless chap.
at the Renaissance
Single
Festival. I have a single chap.
That's
but
amazing.
once I pour it, I can never set this down. So I'm going to do one other thing before I pour this because it's not flat. Like I can't.
It's a horn.
It's a horn, y'all. You got to get on Patreon.
Maybe don't pour the whole thing in it.
Oh,
For listeners at home.
What was that?
Whatever was pre-existing in the horn.
I just rinsed it. I'm not drinking out of this horn. That's not happening. Okay, I showed you the horn. Something came out of it.
Maybe it was just from
rinsed it.
Maybe it was just from being rinsed. Ew.
Did that get on your computer?
No, kinda.
Oh, a little bit right on the keyboard.
It's fine. Okay, well, I have this and I'm fucking totally not using it now because it just vomited on my desk. But here's my other treat.
Okay.
Does it have to do with a hair straightener?
No. And I actually have multiples of these, and this is not the most recent, so I'm kind of sad. But I thought I would show you
Yes.
Yeah.
Best
my
photo.
Renaissance photo. That's me and Scott in the center, and I'm gonna show it to my camera.
It's so good.
And then just a lot of friends. We LARP and get our picture taken every year. So I'm just
It's
going to
great.
have this looking at me.
Unbelievable.
Yep. So those are my two treats. And whatever came out of that horn kind of smells. So I did not rinse it properly. And I'm glad I'm not drinking out of it. All right.
It's probably not dishwasher safe.
It's for sure he's not. And it has like grooves. So
Yeah.
a chunk of something in there. Anyway, we're drinking grapefruit high noon. It's fizzy, it's citrusy, it's slightly sassy, it's so refreshing. You can pair it with your sparkling personality.
I'm drinking Sokol Blosser.
You love that stuff. It's so good.
It's
It's
so
really
good.
good.
Ooh, these high
Yeah,
noons
they
are,
sent us these wines and my God, they're good.
there's
All
no added sugar.
Wow.
I've
This
never
is
had a
only
high
2
noon,
point-
but there's one in my fridge.
Oh, girl.
They're so good.
They're so good.
They're vodka sodas.
They're
Like not seltzers.
Well, I'm doing 3 weeks of dry January in between my 2 vacations, so I'm
That
drinking
works.
ice water.
I love that journey for you.
Cheers.
Oh,
Cheers, everyone.
Cheers to not drinking out of a moldy horn.
And nice crack, I guess.
Oh yeah, I forgot. Nice crack.
All right.
You guys,
Lucy-
we're nailing it.
We're doing great. We're doing great. It's fine. Lucy, what is our background and probably not psych for Renaissance Festival crimes?
I gotta get my bones.
Oh, bone up. Oh my God, that's so fucking good.
No psych
hi.
today.
No psych.
So a Renaissance festival, fair, or fair with an E,
Ferret.
fair, is a public shopping is a public commercial outdoor gathering which theoretically recreates a historical setting of the Renaissance era, typically in the 16th century during the reign of Henry VIII or Queen Elizabeth I. But the actual Renaissance began in the 14th century, peaked in Italy in the 15th century, and just kind of spread out all over the rest of Europe in the 16th and 17th centuries.
And then it just kind of plateaued. We're still kind of there, but with iPhones
Yeah.
and showers.
Just kind of receded.
And way less funding for the arts.
Yeah.
Way less.
Like dramatically less.
So sometimes there are, at these Renaissance festivals, some Vikings and some pirates thrown in, which are definitely not within the actual Renaissance period. And sometimes you might see wizards or centaurs or elves
Hobbits.
or Star Trek people,
Kind of
hobbits.
Narnia-esque things.
So all of these,
Narnies, carnies.
they cross the line for me personally. But,
love it.
you know, you do you. It's a fantasy realm. So here's a good quote from a Bloomberg article. Along with all the bodice-intensive Elizabethan garb, you see puffy-shirted space pirates, winged fairies in leather bikinis, kilted barbarians, armored warrior monks. It's like walking around inside a mid-70s Jethro Tull album.
Yes.
Yeah,
Which
that's why we love
is.
it.
So lots of costumes for both fairgoers and entertainers, musical and theatrical acts, crafts for sale. You can dip your hand in some hot wax.
Oh,
Love a
I
wax
remember
hand.
that.
You can throw some
Love a wax
axes,
hand.
do some
Lely
archery.
Blord always had that wax hand. It was like her prized possession. Do you remember that?
I was very
yeah.
jealous of it. It was rainbow
Yeah.
colored.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh. She showed
And
that thing
also-
off.
Massive, historically incorrect smoked turkey legs.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
We'll get to the historical incorrectness later on.
Okay.
These festivals can be held temporarily at a fairground or in a permanent location, a la the Minnesota Renaissance Festival. The best Renaissance festival.
Hands down.
Mm-hmm. There are definitely way more Renaissance festivals in countries that didn't even experience the Renaissance era, such as the
I
US,
love that.
Canada, and Australia.
Yeah,
Listen.
in actual Europe, they're like, what?
Why would you want to relive this?
They have them, but they're not the same.
They're not American.
Yeah.
It's not the Renaissance unless it's American.
It's not like foreign enough for them.
Right.
So
And they
the
know
ones,
way more about history, so they're going to be more like specific
Pretentious about it.
and each Renaissance festival has like kind of a different vibe. Like some of them take place in what's it, like Hobbit's land, whatever that's called, Mordor, things like that.
The Shire is where the hobbits are
Okay.
from. But
they have, like,
Middle Earth,
different-
I think, is what you're going for.
Some of
Hobbits
them-
are us.
God.
Hobbitville, Whoville, or whatever.
Jesus Christ. Good God. Listeners, I'm sorry I
Candyland.
tried.
I'm not sorry.
Candyland. Who's
but yeah, they have, like-
King Muck, like that guy in Candyland who's just like a glob of melted chocolate.
Ooh, I like him.
I don't
Actually, the
recall.
licorice guy's my favorite. He's sinister.
And he's totally like on the queer spectrum,
Hot.
which I
Oh, yeah.
soups love.
Mm-hmm, totally. We'll get to the queer spectrum, too.
Oh, yeah, we will.
We'll get to the bread bowls, the historical inaccuracies, and the queer spectrum.
Yeah.
This isn't wine and crime.
Yeah.
We will fucking get to all those things. In 2016, there were an estimated 170 Renaissance fairs and events in the United States. So there's a lot.
What about?
So the Minnesota Renaissance Festival is at a permanent 22-acre site in Shakopee. Ever heard of it?
Oh, yeah.
And here are some fun facts about the Minnesota Renaissance Festival, because there
Okay.
are a lot of fun facts. It is the second oldest Renaissance Fest in the country, having opened in 1971.
Wow.
It is the largest Renaissance festival in the U.S. with an annual attendance of around 300,000.
Double
Oh, darn it.
On August 19th, 1975, Penn and Teller did their first show together at the Minnesota Renfest.
What?
Yeah.
We should see if
I
we
did
can
not
do a
know
live
that.
show at the Renfest.
Okay.
Probably
Probably not during Renfest, but yeah, we could probably do one there.
Another major star sighting, Jason Mraz worked as a pickle boy early in his performance career at the Minnesota Renfest.
You're
Hot.
fucking kidding me.
No.
Love that for him.
I super love that.
I know.
Apparently, there's like a famous juggling troupe called the Flying Karamazov Brothers. Never heard of
Love
them,
it.
but I guess they're famous in the juggling troupe circuit. They got their
In
start.
that well-known circuit.
They got their start at the Minnesota Renfest.
Love it.
And the first queen of the Minnesota Renaissance Festival was actress Tova Feldscha, who played a defense attorney on Law and Order.
All right, I gotta look up this bitch.
She won some Tony Awards,
Toba Award.
Tova Awards.
Oh,
Tova.
okay. Yeah.
There's a picture of her on the drive that'll be on the blog. You might find her familiar looking.
Cool. Cool.
Okay. Actually, I do find her familiar because I have seen her on Law and Order. So
Yep.
Okay, cool.
She was the first queen. And I
Couldn't have picked
tried
her out of a lineup, but good work.
I know. I tried to find a picture of her as the queen, and there weren't any. She
Too
probably
long
burned
ago.
all evidence.
They're exclusive.
They didn't have photography in the 1970s.
Or the 16th century.
Yeah, more accurately, the 16th.
Not even an oil painting.
No.
The oldest Renaissance festival is the Renaissance Pleasure Fair with an E, of Southern California, which opened either in 1961, 62, or 63. I found very different dates for that. You'd think that they would know, but. So that is when Los Angeles school teacher Phyllis Patterson was unimpressed with the lack of arts education and that was provided to her students. Along with her husband, Ron, she decided to start providing after-school art and theater workshops in their backyard. The workshops proved so popular that on May 11th and 12th, the Pattersons expanded them into a weekend fundraiser called the Renaissance Pleasure Fair and May Market, raising money for a local radio station, KPFK.
Wow.
So this little weekend thing, I think I read it attracted like 3,000 people
Wow.
Dang.
to like their fucking backyard.
Get it, Phyllis.
Yeah, seriously.
So super popular, described by the New York Times as, quote, a kind of early wimpled Woodstock. Wimpled.
Don't love that.
And because it was born out of a hippie culture, elements of free love, non-binary gender identification, and an anti-square attitude remains at Renaissance festivals to this very day.
It totally does.
It
It's
really
so
does.
funny and interesting for like such a conservative time period and like religious time period. It's all like the alt like weirdos like us that like it and go.
So there's a book called Well Met, Renaissance Fairs and the American Counterculture, written by Rachel Rubin. And the author points out that, quote, virulent nationalism, lack of sanitation, public torture, and religious conflict are erased and nullified, replaced with romanticized combat, a sanitation staff, complimentary parking, and good food.
Yeah,
Damn right.
all the best parts of
We really
the
cherry
old
pick.
history.
Yeah, we just cannibalized the Renaissance.
We like to wear corsets, okay?
Yeah,
and
my
Halloween
boobs
is
look
only once a year.
Really fucking good.
I want to dip my
All
hand in hot
laced
wax,
up.
okay?
Yeah.
While
Let
wearing
us
a
have
bodice
this. Yeah.
and eating a turkey leg
Hashtag bodice guys.
and a lot of stew
I'm
out of a
into
bread bowl.
leather fringe,
I love
okay?
a good stew. You know I
So
love a good
stew
stew.
me.
So stew me.
Stew me. fucking stew me, okay?
So fucking stew me. Right here.
Okay, so back to that Bloomberg article. The Rabelaisian, I don't know what that means. The
From
Rabelaisian
Rabelais.
atmosphere of these bawdy carnivals touched a nerve in anxious Cold War America. Not long afterward, hippies started turning up in dandyish frocks. Rock bands began to pillage medieval history, and the rest is history. They put history twice in there.
That was a bad sentence. On
Not
their
your fault.
part.
On their part.
Yeah, not your fault.
I know it's not. It's definitely not.
Def not.
You can probably trace a line from the Pattersons' backyard to Led Zeppelin 4 to Burning Man.
Yes.
The reality-bending appeal of these early SoCal gatherings, which established the interactive no spectators vibe that carries on in today's variants, remains a big part of the festival formula, says Jules Smith Jr., whose family runs the Maryland Renaissance Festival. He says, here was something you could participate in that was a little wild, but it's also safe. It's a form of shared fantasy. Mm-hmm. And then he goes on to say, people are so tied to technology. Coming to something like this, you're not sitting around watching something with a laugh track. It's an immersion. You're gonna go home dirty.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of dirt and mud.
Oh.
For sure.
When
I
you
love
blow your nose after a long day at the Renfest,
Oh, yeah.
honey,
Straw comes out.
Bats fly out.
bats, fully
Whatever
formed
shit
bats.
was in your drinking horn.
I was just gonna say that's
Red
probably
Bulls.
what was in.
Imagine how filthy they were.
God,
Oh, the real Renaissance people?
yeah,
Mhm.
it was not good.
Nope. They didn't have, like, no hygiene.
No, they definitely had some. They changed their linens
Mm-hmm. It was dusty,
bathed.
though.
sometimes.
They could, like, wash their faces, just not a
Yeah.
full-ass bath.
There were a lot of whores baths.
Love it.
I love a horse bath.
Mm-hmm.
So something related to the beginnings of Renaissance festivals that I found is called the Society for Creative Anachronism, or the SCA. It's an international living history group with the aim of studying and recreating mainly medieval European cultures and their histories before the 17th century. A quip
Love it.
often used within the SCA describes it as a group devoted to the Middle Ages, quote, as they ought to have been.
Okay.
All right.
Choosing to selectively recreate the culture, choosing elements of the culture that interest and attract us. So again, they're cherry picking.
Yeah.
They're fully admitting it. They're just doing what
The parts
that
they like.
they want to do. Yeah.
Take the parts you like.
That's their right.
It was founded in 1966 by Diane Paxson, a UC Berkeley medieval studies graduate who hosted a party, again in her backyard, that she called the Grand Tournament, where her guests wore helmets and sparred with plywood swords and fencing foils. And then when they were done, they marched down the street singing Green Sleeves.
Green sleeves slaps.
Green Sleeves does slap.
I fucking love green sleeves.
Listen.
And what isn't the rumor that it was written by Henry VIII? Or was it written by Henry VIII?
I don't
I'm
think they
Googling
know
it.
who wrote it. It's like
Did?
Beowulf. Are you Googling?
Yeah, of course.
Duh.
No, it probably wasn't written by Henry VIII, but that is a common rumor.
Okay.
I don't think he
But
was that talented. He was too insecure.
I don't know. He wrote bad poetry for Anne Boleyn. Whatever. It doesn't matter. Okay.
Okay.
I'm bored.
Here's a fun fact for Amanda. A costumed
you.
attendee is called a patron.
Yes, 'cause they're playing and patronizing. Love.
So, to the food, the bread bowls.
Yes.
To the good stuff.
This is from a grunge.com article. Aside from vegans and vegetarians, who doesn't like a nice juicy turkey leg?
They kind of gross me out, but sure.
I love them. Next to a dragon or a pirate wench, turkey legs are central icons of Renaissance fare. Get it? Fare.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So one restaurant at the Texas Renaissance Festival offers...
The Texas Roadhouse Renaissance Festival, I assume.
So this is how it was written, and it doesn't make sense, but it's called de leg of fowl.
Yeah.
It should be leg of fowl, but that's okay. I mean, it doesn't make sense anyway. They also offer tribal taters.
Oh.
And like Renaissance version of like egg rolls.
Okay.
And like cheese sticks and stuff. But alas, turkeys, tomatoes, corn, and potatoes are indigenous to the Americas. These foodstuffs were not introduced into Europe until the late 16th century, and even after their introduction, most of these foods, since they were foreign and exotic, and really fucking expensive probably, did not initially gain popularity to be considered common foods.
Yeah, which is shocking when you think about potatoes
Right.
and tomatoes.
Right.
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
facts, you know?
Some Renaissance festivals openly admit this flaw, such as the Central Coast Renaissance Festival, which posts information on what people really ate in Elizabethan England. However, this does not prevent them from selling turkey legs.
A
Heck
lot
no.
of eels. There were a lot of like
Yeah.
eel pies.
Yeah.
Okay. That
Yeah.
sounds like
Really gross.
tasty.
Mm-hmm.
Pottage. I have to blow out this vagina candle because it's giving me a headache. I love it so
reeks.
much, but it does absolutely reek. So again, Lucy got me this goop vagina candle, and I can't.
It's
She's
not
a mess.
I tried. All right.
Mhm.
It'll just be decor.
Yeah. You can brag about it.
Yeah.
It's still a fun thing to have.
I love it,
Mm-hmm.
but I will not light it again.
I love it. I don't light it. It's for the
I
look. I
love
don't
it.
light it.
But I'll never use it ever again. It's strictly a conversation starter.
It's for the
Absolutely.
look. I don't light it.
Yeah, thank you.
Name
Will
that
Smith.
song. Thank you.
Yeah.
God.
we heard you. I was getting
you
to it.
got it. I don't know if Lucy got it.
I wasn't listening.
There it is.
All right, I'm almost done. Speaking of historical inaccuracies, Renaissance festivals are often replete with sexual innuendos and expression.
Oh yeah,
We'll
a lot
get
of
to it.
wenches.
My whole seg.
Mm-hmm. Quote, was the Elizabethan Renaissance really filled with pickle hawkers cracking sexual witticisms?
Yes.
The answer is probably not. While there was bawdy humor, and who doesn't know the messed up truth of Henry VIII's domestic life, most people were in very vanilla relationships. So there's a book or an article called Moral Conceptions of Sexual Love in Elizabethan Comedy, which I'm sure Kenyon has somewhere.
Oh yeah. Oh, I'm adding it to my list.
Moral Conceptions of Sexual Love in Elizabethan Comedy. That is niche.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I have multiple books about sex in Tudor and Elizabethan.
Oh, I know.
times. Yeah.
I know. I wasn't joking when I thought you would have this on your shelves.
I know.
So anyway, that asserts that heterosexual monogamous relationships were the norm. So why are Renaissance fairs so promiscuous? In part, the answer goes back to the festival's roots in the counterculture, which pushed for sexual liberation. So really, like the whole vibe, the like lasting vibes of Renaissance festivals tie back to those hippies in their fucking backyard.
Yep.
They were just
Playing
trying to
dress up.
They were trying to raise money for a local radio station and like teach kids.
I love it.
It's
So
great. I love
cute.
everything about it. I'm glad that you didn't ruin Renaissance festivals.
No,
Mhm.
let's embrace the charade that it is.
Yeah.
Yes.
So in summary, Renaissance festivals are super fun as long as you bring your own wet wipes and don't get too caught up in the historical accuracy, because there's very
Yeah.
little of that.
Let
There's
it go.
very little
And
historical
you
accuracy.
can still have fun. Eat your turkey legs, drink your stew out of your bread bowl.
Mhm.
Blow your
Yes.
nose when you get home and show your friends.
Do me, honey.
Wipe your feet.
Wipe your fucking feet, for God's sakes.
and rent a
once.
costume. Don't buy them and don't buy them there.
They're very expensive.
Oh, really expensive. Yeah. But like go all out. Like get dressed up. It's not fun if you don't.
No. Get the little the flower crowns with the long ribbons.
Oh,
Yes,
get your
yes.
astrological chart done.
Oh, yeah. Every year, baby.
Oh,
Get your
yeah.
chart,
'Cause
get your tarot read.
The whole thing.
Dang it.
It's
I'm
stuff that
Would have
excited
gotten
magic.
people burned alive back in the actual Renaissance.
Yes, precisely.
I'm driving up in August.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
going. I'm
I'm
going.
going.
Come on
too.
up, babes. Come on up. Stay with mama.
Stay with mama.
Let's go.
Anyway, that's my seg.
All right. Well
Love
done.
it. Love it.
Are we ready for my case?
Yeah.
Usually not.
So, like I said at the top, I just mentally was not in a place, having not left my house in so long, and the like society crumbling around me, to like do something really dark and sad.
Right. Yeah,
Good.
of course.
So
Self-care, baby.
there wasn't like that much to choose from
Mm-hmm.
because it's a very niche topic, but I do love talking about it. So I decided that we should go in the way back machine and talk about an actual festival that occurred during the actual Renaissance.
Oh.
This fucking
Okay.
counts. This fucking fully counts. You
Yeah.
understood the assignment.
Thank
honey.
you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You did.
So it's going to require some background info. And those of you who are supporters on Patreon will have heard my drunk dive about
Merkins?
royal inbreeding
Oh, the Habsburg chin.
and the
The chin.
Habsburg jaw, which I just wasn't able to like let
Get
go of that
over?
yeah.
Can you imagine how much
we're
room?
revisiting.
Can you imagine how much room for my adult acne there would be if I had a Habsburg chin?
Oh, the surface
Oh.
area.
It would be expansive
Yeah.
and expensive to manage.
Mm-hmm.
All that
Well-
Accutane.
Yeah.
We're gonna get to it.
Great.
So I just couldn't let go of Charles II. You know,
Never
He's
let
just
go.
So charismatic, and so we're gonna talk about his second wedding.
Oh,
And the
I love a
festivities.
redo.
Yeah. Okay, so Maria Anna of Neuburg was born in 1667 in a palace near Dusseldorf and was a member of the House of Wittelsbach, a German dynasty with a long history of European rule, including count them, 3 Holy Roman emperors.
Wow.
There are photos of all of these people on the drive, and they will be on the blog, so definitely take a look.
Photographs?
No, sorry. Screenshots of portraits.
Oh, Charles
Of
II
these
is
people.
back.
God, I forgot how fucking ugly these people were.
Yeah. So check out Maria Anna of Neuburg. That's who we're currently talking
I
about.
love her bow.
Oh. She looks
Honey.
weird in the
Yeah.
chin, too.
Oh, she was a relative.
I
You
can
know,
see
they're all,
that.
they're all connected. So she would grow up to serve as Queen of Spain from 1689 to 1700, following her marriage to Charles II, the last Habsburg King of Spain, and also known as El Hechizado, or the Bewitched, because of his super inbred, fucked up everything.
Some of these
Ness.
portraits of Maria Anna are very severe.
Some of them are not flattering.
And
And
some,
some
of them, you
are
can
like stunning.
yeah,
Well, they photoshopped.
it's
It's an oil painting.
I know.
There's no
They
way.
took
the original,
liberties.
the original
They took
face
liberties.
tune.
So, yeah, literally, yeah. Sometimes look at look at Maria Anna of Neuburg 2, and then compare that where it looks like her face is literally melting. Like half of her face is lower
Right.
than
And then
the other
number
half.
3
of her.
is like
softest
pristine
jaw.
and beautiful.
Yeah, and then number 4 too. She looks like very pretty.
Number 5, well, we're swinging back the other way.
Yeah,
Big fan of the gown and the puff sleeve in 2, though.
Uh-huh.
the
Oh.
dresses are so much more like elaborate and ornate
They're
than
so cool. I'm getting some fair inspo.
right. I know if you wanted to be real Renaissance, you'd have to be like way more elaborate because
Listen, I'm putting putty on my chin, and I am fucking getting
Go
one of
as
these
Charles.
gowns.
Let's cosplay as the Habsburgs.
I want to go as Charles, too. I have the hair for it now.
Yeah.
Okay, so Maria Anna was Charles's second wife, like I said, following the death of his first wife, Marie-Louise of Orléans, the same year, and there are pictures of her on the drive, and she's very beautiful and like very Spanish looking.
Mm-hmm.
She's
Oh,
cool.
the
Dark-haired
brows.
beauty.
Stun.
Little share happening.
Yeah. She does have great brows.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So, the first wife died. No, they had no kids because Charles was Charles.
Mm-hmm.
And so
Charles
then,
was not in charge.
Yeah. And so now he's marrying his second wife. And Maria Anna was reportedly selected for the role because her family was famously fertile. She was herself one of 17 siblings.
God.
Nope.
No presh.
Bye-bye. I mean, thank God I will not be going down in history for being famously fertile.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, go ahead and be fertile, but I don't want to be like Duggar fertile. That is
Ugh.
famously fertile, and it's not okay.
True.
No.
Yeah.
That is a crime.
Also, what is she supposed to do? Just because her parents were fucking all the time doesn't mean that she can like grow a baby out of nowhere from this king husband who like definitely cannot get it up.
Right.
yeah.
Anyway. So
Sound off, honey. Sound off.
Let it out. Put it in the burn book.
So there are some theories for Charles's impotency. He had been king of Spain since he was 3 years old and suffered a range of ailments and disabilities, likely resulting from generations of inbreeding. And if you want details on that, which I believe you do,
Go to
check out-
Patreon.
Go to Patreon, check out my drunk dive.
It's
There are
very
charts.
thorough.
There are charts.
But just to sum up, he was so inbred that 25% of his genetic makeup was duplicate.
That's so much percent.
Yeah.
A quarter of his genes were
No.
identical.
No, we're good.
No. And don't they
We
say
are
that we're
good.
like 2 genes away from a banana? Like,
Yeah.
that'll fuck you up.
Yeah.
I
There's not a lot of room to maneuver.
No.
When it
Listen,
comes to
I
genes.
am in a state of existential dread at all times. I can't handle factoids like we're 2% away or 2 genes away
Yeah.
from being a banana.
I'm Googling
We're-
it. It's not like it's
I'm-
going to affect you at this stage
Yeah,
of
you
You
development.
don't know. You don't know what could happen.
You're right. You're right. You could be a banana tomorrow.
I,
I'm going to need you to check in with me in the morning.
so I can be sure you're not a banana. Between the possibility that I can wake up a banana tomorrow and Lucy teaching me that fucking corpses can just be thumbing it down Highway 35, I will never be okay again.
They move.
I know.
They flap.
Okay. So what's interesting is that while he's super fucking inbred over multiple generations, again, see
He's
chart.
so inbred that he just is bred.
Yeah.
He's 100%
Banana bread.
He's banana.
He's
Anyway,
baked.
so what I found was so interesting is that he had older siblings that didn't seem to suffer the same effects. So
Maybe somebody's cheating.
maybe somebody's cheating. Thank God. Or,
Like, please cheat.
sometimes you get with genes and whatever,
Stuff skips and
yeah, exactly.
yeah.
Each time is different. So
Luck of the draw. Sometimes you're a baby, sometimes you're a banana. There's no way to know.
just like whenever I try to bake sugar cookies and it's fucking luck of the draw. Every time
Girl.
is different. They're never the same.
Baking
Every time
is
is bad.
Baking is alchemy. It's sorcery.
Yeah.
Every time
it
is
really makes
bad.
sense.
The Amanda Jacobson story.
Yeah. Just cannot fucking make cookies to save my life. So,
It's so hard.
okay. So there are other theories that have been proposed to explain his unfortunate conditions.
His poor unfortunate soul.
So some of these include the fact that his father was 56 when he was born,
And was also his uncle.
and
And his own grandpa.
was his own great uncle.
Oh,
Yes.
right.
And everyone was like very nonplussed by the fact that his dad was 44 when Philip married his 14-year-old niece.
Oh, my God.
Oh,
Yep.
good Lord.
Yeah. And I think it was something like Charles was his mom's son and second cousin.
That makes perfect sense. Thank you.
Anyway. So another
Thanks for clearing that up.
Followed it. My brain does not hurt at all.
Another theory proposed was by an astrologer, and that went that when Charles's father died, when Charles was just 3 years old, he'd failed to give the boy a proper goodbye. And so
He came back.
Charles was 3 when his dad died. And so they didn't get enough of a goodbye, apparently. And so the astrologer said that this caused Charles's impotence later in life.
Honey, no.
Okay.
And this
I
sounds
love a
insane.
creative solution to an interesting problem, but
Well, this sounds insane, but apparently it wasn't in the 17th century. And so after the astrologer made this proclamation, they fucking exhumed King Philip's body 20 plus years after his death
to ask him to give a proper goodbye to his son.
so that Charles could bid him farewell properly
Ish.
to
And then
cure
he
his
suddenly bore a
impotence.
son.
Did it work?
It didn't
Oh,
work. This touching
boo.
ceremony sadly was not the Viagra pill that they hoped for.
Oh my.
But yeah, they
God.
fucking exhumed the king because an astrologer told them it would make the new king's dick work.
Well,
You
that
guys,
astrologer
we
has
are
egg
living-
on his face.
Or not.
We are living in the worst timeline. Like, I want to be there. Ish. First of all, ish. Second of all,
There was
I
no
wanna go-
egg on anyone's face.
or anywhere
Wow.
else.
I want to go back to a time where these were the things we were exploring.
You got ghosts in
Dig
your
'em
blood.
up.
Do cocaine
Dig it
about it.
up.
Fucking do you?
I feel like we're on our way and
We're
it's
close.
going great.
People
I
are
like an
drinking their own
aspirin.
piss rather than taking a vaccine. So
Listen,
yeah.
How else are you
this
going to
still
wash
exists.
down that horse medicine?
Oh my God.
Only piss.
So another explanation could be any of Charles's numerous childhood illnesses, including measles, chickenpox, rubella, and smallpox,
And lived.
and herpes as a child.
But I'm just amazed that he could have all of those co-occurring conditions in the Renaissance as an infant
Yeah.
and live to try to sire a child.
It's a miracle that he lived as long as
Miracle.
he did. He lived
Miracle.
into his 30s and nobody saw that coming.
Yeah.
Ugh.
So he was once famously described as, quote, short, lame, epileptic, senile, and completely bald before 35, always on the verge of death, but repeatedly baffling Christendom by continuing to live.
Continuing to live.
He was a fighter.
Yeah. So his years of rule were not a good time for the Spanish Empire.
He
It
really
was kind
took
of,
it on the chin.
No. No.
Oh, no.
See yourself out.
He took a bunch on the chin.
Oh, my God. So the empire had grown massively by like murdering and committing genocide and exploiting indigenous peoples around the world. And then, then they started to lose money and it wasn't great. So with no clear heir to this hugely powerful position, should Charles fail to have a son, the success of the second marriage was like this very important political matter. So poor Maria Anna was like,
The
I have
world
to fuck
on her shoulders.
him. I have to fuck him. That's
Poor
what I
girl.
have to do.
Oh,
Fucking
no.
oops all chin over here is
Yeah.
my new husband.
Oops, all chin.
Yikes.
So Charles was 28 years old. Many held out hope that against all odds, because again, one of his issues was that he had one completely shriveled testicle.
Ah, yes. How could we forget?
That
he would-
old chestnut.
Literally.
Literal chestnut.
That's exactly what it
It's
looks
a
like.
pistachio.
Look
a
at
shelled
chestnut.
pistachio.
Chestnut.
Oh my God. Please Google a chestnut. Put a
that's
picture.
exactly what it
Put a
looks
picture of a chestnut
I
on the
will.
drive,
like.
please.
Ask me twice.
Just label it that old chestnut.
I can't wait for our like production assistant to be like, Kenyon, did you mean to have this photo on the website this week?
Is there a reason you have 13 photos of chestnuts on the drive?
You're like, yes, ma'am, we don't pay and ask questions.
Chestnut crimes.
Okay.
Just
Don't
kidding, Andrea.
tempt
We
them.
love you, and we would be dead without you.
We
need you.
would. We would. She knows that. She knows.
She knows because we tell her every day.
Okay, so
Please don't quit.
him getting it up and fucking and having a baby, specifically a boy, was a matter of national importance. And this succession crisis risked wreaking havoc for like the larger balance of power throughout Europe, which like that
Well,
makes
Presh.
sense. Fucking
Little-
monarchy makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
So a lot was riding on 22-year-old Maria Anna's shoulders when she was selected as his second wife. A proxy wedding took place in August of 1689, a few months later than she departed Germany and sailed to Spain. So they basically were like married on paper before they were physically in the same room.
Mm-hmm.
Their marriage was celebrated by numerous Renaissance festivals.
Yes, now we're getting to it. I had completely forgotten why you were covering this, and I was fine with
I
it.
thought we were talking about chins.
Same.
So, on an occasion such as a significant royal marriage, it was not uncommon for cities to compete with one another to organize the most impressive festival to demonstrate their loyalty to the royal family.
Yeah, because if these already impoverished areas don't spend every dime they have impressing the monarchy as they
Yeah.
like drive past in a cart,
Yep.
then what are we even fucking doing?
Well, hide all the dead bodies. Get
There
them
we
out of
go.
here.
Put them in the pile, put the tarp on
And
it.
then let's joust.
Love it.
So, by far the most lavish of the festivals celebrating their marriage took place in the Italian city of Naples. The festivities spanned an 8-month period.
Oh my God.
Yep.
That's a little long.
8 months.
That's a
How long was your
little
wedding?
long.
8 months.
Months.
No, not your marriage, your wedding.
8 months. This
months.
wedding lasted longer than Kim Kardashian's marriage to that Minnesota
Basketball
gross guy.
boy. Yeah.
Oh, by a long shot.
Yeah. It involved multiple significant construction projects. It was like the fucking Olympics. And elaborate and costly events, despite the fact that the royal couple were never actually in attendance at any point.
They didn't even carte bay.
No,
Carte
because
blanche.
it's in Naples, and she's from Germany, and he's in Spain, and
I mean, yeah, who has the time?
yeah. So
Wow,
it's a crazy
that's
time.
real sad.
Naples' massive wedding celebration was intended as a peacemaking gesture. 43 years earlier, the city had unsuccessfully revolted against Spanish Habsburg rule, so they were still saying sorry 43 years later.
Well, it's never too late to apologize,
Yeah.
as they say.
Oh my God. So the prolonged festival was meant to once and for all proclaim devotion to the Habsburg king. Ironically, though, the massive expenditure of the festival was undertaken as Naples was again suffering under the burden of heavy taxation from that king.
Mm-hmm.
That was to pay for Spain's fucking lengthy and costly wars. So they had no money because they were being taxed by the people that they were then trying to impress.
It's just a little snake eating its own little tail.
Yeah.
Yeah. Despite food and supply shortages, the local government spared no cost for the celebration. And I'm basically just picturing like the Pentagon's budget
Yeah.
every year
Yeah.
just growing. And then like just the unhoused crisis, the opioid epidemic,
Et
fucking
cetera,
no
et
universal
cetera.
health care, fucking
Yeah.
COVID, fucking.
We're fine.
But we have jetpacks for
Right.
the Navy.
Mhm.
Like literal
Oh, yeah,
flying
I saw
jetpacks.
those.
It's fine.
Highly
They're super
unnecessary.
cool. Super cool.
So some of the shit that they did for this Renaissance festival included the construction of an amphitheater in the shape of a parallelogram.
Ooh,
Big deal.
Love a parallelogram.
That was painstakingly hand-painted to resemble marble. The entire amphitheater.
Wow.
Oh my
Because they
God.
didn't have marble, I assume.
Yeah, I guess it would have been too expensive to like build it out of marble or
Makes
too permanent,
sense.
maybe.
Save that money, honey. And
Or they didn't have
quartz
enough time.
It's less porous and lasts longer anyway. So
Yeah, I would prefer. I wish I had quartz countertops. I have marble, and they are a bitch.
trash. Absolute
fucking
trash.
Jesus.
So this amphitheater would be the site of numerous events such as jousts and bullfights, scheduled to coincide with notable dates such as Maria Anna's arrival in Spain. So they just dragged it out and celebrated like, now she's leaving Germany. Let's have a party.
Oh,
Now
my
she's
God.
arrived in Spain. Let's have a party. Oh, they've
No.
consummated their whatever, supposedly. Let's have a party.
My
Oh.
God.
Lucy, can you imagine a party lasting this long in your house?
I would burn my house down. I would move. I would burn. Yeah, no. I had
The
to
most-
augment my banner that said please leave by 9 to please leave by 8 because I
Yeah.
couldn't find one that said please leave by 8.
Yep.
What I meant was 7, but whatever.
Yes.
So the most extravagant feature of the festival, however, was a 500-foot-long artificial river that was filled with spring water.
I love that.
What?
Reminds me of
They
the
did-
hotel we stayed at in Nashville.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my God. The gay old Opry or whatever
The
hotel.
Gaylord
Opry
Gaylord
Land.
Opry Land. God.
The gay old Lord Opry.
The gay old Opry Lord Hotel.
We got there.
Yeah, the fake river. They built a fake river. So the Renaissance was bonkers. They were able to do such amazing things, and then they understood like nothing about how the body worked.
I mean, same.
Such a bizarre time.
So weird.
Like no germ theory, but we can like fully
Build a river.
build a river for
Right.
funsies.
yeah,
Yeah.
it doesn't make any sense, but I
Yeah.
love it.
I'll take
So
it.
the river was lined on either side with 90 fountains and ended at an artificial grotto where people could like frolic. Yep. On the date of Charles and Maria Anna's marriage, an elaborate spectacle was staged on the river, which included a shell-shaped boat containing figures meant to represent Amor, the god of love, Hymen, the god of marriage ceremonies.
Hymen. Is that why it's called
No.
Hymen?
It
Yes.
must be.
Literally,
Is
yes.
it spelled the same? Oh my
Yes.
God. Oh no.
Yep. Yep.
That's so
And-
gross. Oh my
Uh-huh.
Love it. I
Yeah.
want to get another cat and name her Hymen.
You should.
Hymen.
Pepperoni and Hymen.
And then when you have to bring her to the vet, Hymen is broken.
My Hymen
hymen
is
is-
broken.
Hymen's bleeding.
My Hymen is bleeding.
Pet too hard, broke my hymen. I tried to brush my hymen and it just did not go well.
Fed her dry food, broke my hymen.
That's why you should never take your cat horseback riding. Am I right?
You're
Never.
right. I do not stand for it.
I love that she's not the god, or he, I don't even know, is
Yeah.
not the god of marriage. The
Marriage
god of
ceremonies.
marriage ceremonies.
Well, for
Yeah.
a long time, and in a lot of European
Oh.
cultures, it was like a public fucking act, and then they had to look for the blood.
oh,
Fuck
oh,
up.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I hate that. I know, and I hate it.
Yeah. And Lucina, the goddess of childbirth.
Okay, great.
So figures pulling the boat were made to resemble 2 dolphins, Amanda's favorite, 12 mermaids,
Merman.
and 6 tritons.
2 mermaids, 2 dolphins, 12 mermaids, 6 tritons, and a hymen in a pear tree.
In a shell boat.
In a shell
And a huge
board.
fake marble amphitheater.
Love.
So, in addition to loyalty to Spain, the imagery of this spectacle was also clearly designed to display a hope that the marriage would produce an heir, because there's a
You
lot
don't
of like
say fertility.
fertility shit.
Mhm. Hyman.
I just wanted us to like imagine the Renfest in Shakopee, but with
As
some
is.
of these elements.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, as was traditional at the time, details of the festival were recorded and preserved in an elaborate festival book meant to commemorate the event and provide a lasting record of Naples' loyalty, which is kind of like a
Now
concert.
known as Facebook.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It was for people who couldn't make it,
Yeah.
spread information.
To brag online.
Although these books were often beautiful artifacts, one source cautions that, quote, their contents should not be taken at face value.
Oh.
Festival books were, in fact, formidable instruments of political propaganda through their authors' careful editing of the events to further political agendas, i.e. Instagram.
Got it. Okay, so
Yeah.
this social media presence
Has always
versus
existed.
reality has existed for fucking ever. Wow.
Oh, yeah. Big time. It was a little bit more controlled by the state,
Sure.
but yeah.
Interesting.
I'm drinking more wine because I'm not slurring enough. It's fine.
Go, honey. Down the hatch.
Okay. Meanwhile, back in Spain, not anywhere near any of these festivities, Maria Anna no doubt soon realized that she was in a hopeless situation. So she had to just look out for herself and figure out her own agenda. Because, like, there's no way she's bearing an heir with Charles.
Yeah.
According to one contemporary source, quote, the queen has acquired such a dominion over the spirit of her husband. And again, he also had like cognitive
Yeah. Issues.
issues and
It was not a good sitch.
no. That it may be said that she alone reigns as sovereign of Spain. The authority of the queen, however, is founded rather upon the fear of her anger than upon any love for her on the part of the nation.
Huh.
There's no people in the world so sensitive of praise as the Spaniards,
Okay.
and consequent, or Libras.
Yeah. Like, hold my beer. Okay.
Okay, watch me.
Hold
okay,
my
whatever.
beer.
Hold my high noon. And consequently, none who are so much affected by contempt. The queen professes contempt for the whole nation. And as
Good for her.
she was like, fuck this.
Yeah.
Why have I been brought here? This is impossible. I can't do any of this. And I'm really sad and alone. So I want pretty dresses and jewelry.
Yep.
basically.
Yeah. It's the least you could fucking do.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Back to this quote, wherever the fuck I was. Contempt. As offensive discourse is the only revenge for those who are excluded from power, it is not surprising to hear all the evil things that the public detestation causes to be said about her. It is, however, very true that she gives plenty of reasons for the reproaches leveled against her. So basically, she is a bitch. Like, everybody hates her, but she is a bitch.
Yeah. All right. Fair.
She's got every fucking right to be.
Yeah. You're allowed to be a bitch in
With
these
her-
circumstances.
Yeah. With her regard to her avidity in receiving and extorting presents, there is no one more ingenious than she in finding excuses for appropriating everything that is valuable in Madrid and for amassing everyday fresh treasure for herself.
Get it.
Wow. Must hurt, huh? I wonder how terrible that must be.
Yeah. To have the 1%.
She's doing what we do to everyone else, and I don't like it.
Yeah. Yeah. But still, Maria Anna was undoubtedly aware that her only real power lay in her ability to produce an heir, which was fucking impossible. And the more time passed, the closer her husband came to death,
Yeah.
and the more difficult it would be. So to cope, she kind of claimed that she was pregnant on various occasions.
Who
and,
wouldn't? She pulled a
miscarried.
Kelly.
Oh yeah, she gained some time. Yeah, a Kelly
Yep.
Kapoor.
Kelly Kapoor. I would do the same fucking thing.
Absolutely. Yeah. So she did that a few times, probably never was actually pregnant. She also succeeded in deflecting much of the blame, though, for this lack of an heir onto Charles because, fucking look at him.
Yeah.
And she also, problematically, but in our eyes, but at the time very normally, had him undergo multiple exorcisms.
Well,
Yeah.
There's ghosts in your blood. Do cocaine about it.
Yeah. And
Well,
again,
an
his nickname was
exorcism.
the Bewitched.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So then in 1698, Charles grew seriously ill, and most believe that his death was like imminent, although he did like cling on for 2 more years somehow.
A real Helen situation.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Everybody fucking went to Pennsylvania.
It was
they
a
rented
whole
a
thing.
car.
She was
And
all
then he was-
mad that he couldn't go to Olive Garden.
Yeah. You know the drill.
You were dead yesterday.
Yeah. And she's,
What are you doing here?
put the rest of my jewelry on me.
Yeah, seriously. I'm not dressed, she said.
Drape me.
Covered in her jewels. God.
If she had said, I want to be buried with all my jewelry, would you guys have done it?
No. Are you kidding?
Selfish.
Absolutely not. First of all, she didn't have like a ton that was even valuable at that point. It was the jewelry she liked to wear was all of her costume jewelry, which
Right.
like fine, fucking bury her with it, whatever.
Right.
I'm just not burying that bitch with her wedding set. It's not happening.
No.
My sister got her first one. Not first marriage, but like the OG, and then she upgraded, and
Right.
that one's mine, and it's not going down in the box with you,
No.
Grandma. I don't care
Sorry.
what you say.
It's not going down in the box with ya.
It's not going down in the box with you. She got cremated anyway.
Whatever. It's fine. It was
She's
just a good
fucking
question.
fine. It was also like in her wishes that she had like pre-written an obit, and I was like, we're not
not
publishing that.
That's
No,
too boring.
I got this.
So they're trying to figure out the successor. I'm not going to get into all the details, whatever. Maria Anna had her candidate, and they had one candidate, but then he died of smallpox, whatever.
Classic.
All kinds of shit back and forth. So when Charles finally died in 1700 at the age of 38, the empire fell into chaos, and there was the War of Spanish Succession, and it lasted like 10 years and blah, blah, blah. And also his personal confessor was tried after his death for bewitching him by the Spanish Inquisition.
Nobody expects it.
But like somehow he was acquitted, thank God. I think because they were like, clearly Charles was fucked up way before this guy came into the picture. So like it's not his fault. So there's that. The war and the different factions, whatever, really fucked up Maria Anna's retirement. And again, she was like maybe 30 at this point.
Right. But that's
Whatever.
fucking old in the Renaissance.
Yeah. So she's exiled, all kinds of shit. She's able to come back for a bit She's able to come back for a bit. Then she's exiled again. People gain power, lose power, whatever.
What
Finally,
I wouldn't give to be exiled.
My God.
Send my ass away. Yeah.
so she ends up in France and she lives for several more decades. And according to some sources, she remarries, and her second husband, no longer King of Spain, Habsburg Emperor, now he is a local French barrel maker.
Wow.
Wow.
Good for her. Living that quiet
Yeah.
life.
Yeah.
Barrel maker.
And
Barrel
then-
maker.
Barrel maker.
In 1739, so like 39 years after Charles's death, she's finally allowed to return to Spain, and then she died the following year.
Oh.
So
Sweet
that-
relief.
Yeah,
Sweet relief.
seriously.
Fucking that. I want you, when you go to the Renfest, I want you to think about how fucking bonks the actual Renaissance was.
Yeah.
It was a little messy. She was a little messy.
She was messy as
It was
fuck.
more than like mud and dust and like disease.
A lot of that
turbulence.
shit is more medieval.
Mm-hmm.
The Renaissance was just insanity.
Yeah.
It was wild.
So that's my case.
Loved it.
Love, 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 love.
I love your
Well,
messy historical
yeah,
tales.
Good. I love them
It's-
too.
It's your niche.
It is.
Are you ready for my case?
Yes.
Maybe. It's not really a case. I just wanted to. Just don't worry about it. Okay. So, I want to talk about Renfest sex stuff.
Oh, yes. Sex stuff.
And obviously, that's going to come with a disclaimer right out of the gate. Like, sexual subculture is dope. When you find your community, it is the absolute best. And there are people who can and will exploit that subculture and do fucked up shit, like the guy who originally owned the fucking Renfest here in Minnesota. I think part of his, like, quote unquote, huge air quotes, like reasoning behind his fucking sex crimes was that it was like the culture of the Renaissance Festival. And it's like, no, it's fucking not. So fuck off.
Yeah, there's a line.
Yeah.
Right. And this doesn't mean that the subculture and the kinks therein are bad. It means that the exploitative predators infiltrating those spaces are bad.
Yeah.
And being part of a dope sexual subculture comes with some responsibility, especially around the issue of consent. So something that can get lost in the conversation of consent is the issue of folks in public spaces who did not consent and were not asked if it was okay to be part of or even witness that subculture with like the purchase of a ticket to a Renaissance fair or like in a public space. So like these are all just little nuanced parts of like finding your community, getting into kink. And at the end of the day, people are fucking prudes. Like I want everyone to be able to express themselves fully and safely, which is a hard line to toe. But there are some boundaries that determine the time and space for sexual expression, like full-blown sexual expression, like public sex is what I mean by that. And it's like up to us to establish and respect those boundaries, like within a fully formed society. Like that's
Like
just what we do.
turn the golf course into a sex
Into
forest.
a public fucking sex forest that people know exactly what it's there for and what to expect when they breach those gates.
Right.
So that said, let's get into something I find hilarious.
Okay.
Now, the Renfest you're likely used to is a tradition in most states. It's a family affair that transports you back to the dirt, grime, and cleavage of the 14th century and beyond. Fairs like these have been attracting folks by the thousands nationwide for years, and if you have ever attended one, then it's no fucking secret that there's a simmering sexual subculture among the staff and many participants of the event.
Staff are fucking
Horned.
yeah.
Horned.
Yeah.
And that, like, leather corsets, collars, and kilts commonly worn by participants blurs the lines of and welcomes BDSM culture to live openly within its walls. And I fucking love it. As is true in a lot of states, the fairs will run for several weeks at a time, and exhibitors and staff will literally eat, sleep, piss, shit, and yes, fuck on the premises.
I didn't know that they lived there.
I mean, you don't have to, but like the Minnesota Renaissance Fair,
can.
many of the exhibitors do, because for a lot of folks, this is their whole livelihood. So they travel from state to state.
Different fairs.
To different fairs selling their crafts or whatever. And then
Are there like dorms that
there
live in?
aren't dorms. They have like, well, at least at the Minnesota Renfest, you get kind of a backstage pass. So there's like privies, bathrooms that are only for staff, but it's still fucking porta potties and shit. There's barely any running water. Most people will either tent or bring campers and RVs.
So wild.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think some people will like maybe sleep in their shops, but a lot of people have like little restaurants and there's nowhere for them to crash. Like some people will just set up a cot and like sleep in their shop, but you like can't sleep in the little walk up restaurants. I don't know. It's nuts. So fairs, were like, this is just going to happen. Like they literally live there with limited running water for weeks at a time. And with those close quarters and tight corsets and an abundance of leathersmith shoppies, like banging is bound to happen. So fairs were actually created, not just these Renaissance fairs that we go to, but specific fairs, like Lucy said, were created to cater to this subculture and provide an appropriate space for safe sexual play. Such events launched as early as the 60s. It was the 60s and might be the most it was the 60s shit ever. Like hippies in kilts going to fuck in a bunch of dust at a Renfest.
Yep.
Like, hi,
Fuck
I'm
yeah.
here for it.
Hello, Led Zeppelin.
Yeah. We come from the land of the ice and snow.
Like chinchillas.
Yes. Just shredded fucking
Yeah.
chinchilla cage lining. And these grew in popularity with the BDSM kink community. So this is from maybe my new favorite source ever, vocative.com.
Vocative.
How evocative.
Yeah, a little on the nose, but I love it. Quote, evocative analysis of online forums related to Renaissance fairs and to kink revealed that these festivals are a favorite recreational destination for some local BDSM communities. One of the world's largest BDSM forums, collarchat.com, features a number of stories from members who met their kink partners or first discovered BDSM by attending a Renaissance fair, like a regular run-of-the-mill Renfest. Forum user Calla Firestorm BW joked,
Hot boy.
Cal Hot Blonde
Blonde.
joked, I started off my journey into out of mainstream life as paid staff at a Renaissance fair. Gotta watch those. They're, quote, gateway recreation. Vocative also found strippers and other people who participate in various kinds of sex work talking online about going to the festivals. Some of those who were discussing their trips to the fairs just went for fun, like anyone else, but others went to shop for some of the costumes that are on sale. Like, there's a ton of beautifully made, like, hand leatherworking.
So expensive.
It's so expensive, but, like, fuck, that shit's stunning. If I had the doll hairs to just cover myself in fine leather goods, I fucking would. And the patience for that many ties. I don't really have that much. I'm a pull it on, stretch it out, fart in it, work in it, leggings kind of gal. Yeah. So this kind of close proximity between family-friendly fantasy and sexual fantasy has caused controversy at times. In 2013, one group set up a bondage camp near the entrance of the Texas Renaissance Fair. Despite complaints from parents, a local Ren Fair newsletter praised both the bondage camp and a nudist kink group called Clan Dragonborn, a.k.a. the Naked Knights and Disrobed Damsels.
Oh my God, I love it.
Where do I fucking join?
I
want to be a disrobed damsel. For displaying, quote, a refreshing step away from the hyper family-friendly direction that some fair devotees believe the festivals are taking.
Make Renfest adults only.
Yeah.
Make Renfest a public sex forest. The bondage camp
a little
has
redundant, but it's fine.
But let's do it. The bondage camp has since disappeared from festival forums, but Reddit users say that the Texas Festival is still home to a clandestine BDSM camp.
Oh, lucky.
Yes.
End
Best
quote.
kind.
So, like, I am fully here for this. Oversexed Renfest D&D nerds are my people.
Seriously, oversex though. Nobody fucks like nerds fuck.
No.
Nobody ever
Why are
fucks
they
like
so
nerds
horny?
fuck. I don't know, but it's
So horny.
amazing.
Like really pretty people don't fuck that often. Like nerds,
Not
D&D
even close.
nerds, who can be pretty, I'm sure.
Oh,
but
they're gorgeous.
I'm
but
sure.
There's a lot
My
of
God.
D&D nerds who
It's all
They-
subjective.
you know what
I'm saying.
we know you fuck.
Yeah.
Listen, even though I prefer not to get into the middle of those body piles anymore, like that was more of a high school theater Amanda than a 34 barely holding it together Amanda, but I am fucking here for it.
Yeah.
Bring on a body pile. Just let me shower for 8 years first. Anyway, this specific case that I'm about to get into is a situation where the boundaries of consent were fucking established and normies and prudes came in and fucking ruined it. So let's head to Alabama in glorious pre-pandemic 2018. A traveling Renfest that's based in Georgia calls itself the Southeast Dark Ages Festival.
Also known as
The Southeast. The GOP. The Deep South Dark Ages Festival. This festival is a 21 plus event. It is clear in its mission to provide a sexy opportunity for the Renaissance Fair kink subculture. So it's like marketed. They booked the event at the Southern Pillar Campground in Southern Pillar Campground in Pike County, Alabama from March 23rd through March 25th, 2018. Just a quick weekend of sexual fulfillment for adults only on a private campground. They booked it. Nobody else would be staying there. They booked the whole thing.
Get it.
Wow. I did not know that this existed. This is amazing.
Yeah, and I see no issue here, like at all. This is a private space. You're paying for it. You're going to clean up after yourself. You're following the rules.
All adults
Yeah.
consenting. Go for it.
Exactly. But when the fair's promotional materials started circulating with the promise of, quote, a weekend of fun-filled debauchery and sexual play, the locals just about lost their damn minds.
So don't go.
Yeah, so don't fucking go. It's not that hard. The campground owners, Patrick and Lauren Faircloth, initially claimed they were unaware of the nature of the event prior to the flyer going around. The flyer also revealed, that, quote, sex play and consensual kink would be monitored during the 3-day festival and also referred to intoxicants, which I can only imagine is like Alabama for alcohol.
Yeah.
So I think it was just like, you could bone each other. There will be like safety
There's
staff
mead.
and there will be mead. Like, fucking calm down.
Right.
Honestly, this festival looked dope. Like, where do I sign? Their Twitter account boasted a 5-course dinner that incorporated, quote, dancing girls, music, whipping boy,
Don't like
human
that.
furniture,
I have
test
no-
of skill,
I
and
have no-
strict service.
Oh.
Hey, if you want to be whipping boy,
I
like
like
get
the
it,
whipping
BDSM,
boy.
baby.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
It's all
Sure.
consenting.
If it's all consenting, yes.
All of it
Yeah.
is
the
consenting,
term.
and these. I mean, yeah, but like it's it's a kink term. I got no problem with
Yeah.
it.
Okay. It's all consenting.
They're
okay.
all in. They're all in on it, baby.
Okay.
With tickets so reasonably priced at $35 for singles and $50 for couples.
That
the
is
event,
cheap.
That is
I
cheap.
know. I mean, how much can you really charge for a sex fest weekend in Alabama? But like, I get it. The event was
Half off
slated.
for cousins.
Yeah, cousins are a twofer.
Oh no.
Show-
We're gonna
Show
get
us
so
on the
many
tree.
emails. I'm sorry. I live in
Whatever.
Kentucky, so like, who am
Your
I to
emails will
talk?
be going to Derek. We're gonna
Yeah.
make fun of Alabama. The event was slated to draw in about 200 people, which would have been a nice boost to the Pike County, Pike County economy. But as the Faircloths went back and forth with their lawyers to determine if an event like this was even legal for them to host, pressure mounted from the community to pull the plug on the whole darn thing. Initially, the Southeast Dark Ages Fest stood their ground, tweeting, quote, seems the locals to the venue are planning to protest the event, and adding the hashtags, quote, we will not be bullied, our hashtag fear is overcome with love, and hashtag knowledge is power.
Okay.
We're gonna work on your hashtags.
Yeah,
but okay.
this is not a
Save the
compelling
children.
campaign. Yeah, it's not quite as good as turn the Hiawatha Golf Course into a public sex forest, but I'll get your people in touch with their people.
We need to get those stickers.
We do. So they tweeted this, the festival organizers tweeted that on March 8th of 2018. But within days, the Faircloths canceled their reservation. Patrick Faircloth said to the press, quote, if it was a different thing they would have been doing, it would have brought a lot of money to people's businesses and revenue for the campground, of course. But it doesn't matter how much revenue is going to be generated. That kind of thing isn't going to happen here.
Churches don't pay taxes, so like literally everything else you've got going on is not generating any money for the community.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the festival organizers respected the decision and tweeted that the event was, quote, canceled due to the campground owners having decided to back out for their protection after receiving valid threats and harassment against their family, specifically their minor child.
It already feels like the Dark Ages.
It seriously does. But an article published by The Messenger paints a completely different picture of campground owner Patrick Faircloth. And I'm going to close out the rest of my case reading this article from The Messenger because it is some small town, like, Reverend Sleuth, pearl clutching bullshit, and I am fucking loving
Thank
it.
Yes,
God.
spill
This
that
article-
tea.
This article is why I picked this. I was like, I love it. Okay, so here's the article. Quote, when I became aware of it, I immediately said, I'm not in support of this, Faircloth said, adding he canceled the festival on March 8th. The flyers promoting the event included information about sex play and how consensual kink would be monitored during the festival, as well as references to the use of intoxicants during the weekend. I personally wouldn't support anything illegal, and my wife would never support anything illegal, Faircloth said. However, his wife, Laurel Faircloth, confirmed the campground had hosted the Dark Ages Festival once before. And according to area residents who have raised public concern about the campground, the couple has hosted other festivals and events celebrating BDSM and other sexual activities at the campground.
Oh my God.
The
Now-
truth dust cometh out.
Dust it, though, because this is according to area residents.
Well, and his wife.
Well,
Okay, we're gonna.
I don't
it's
know if the
messy.
wife admitted it or if
people said it of the
people
wife.
are saying it. And I still don't
The
know. And
wife
I've read this article.
confirmed. Whatever.
Oh, I guess she did. But like, I don't know. I think that there's a lot of confusion and hearsay
Okay.
in this community.
Okay.
Officials at Troy University, which is where Patrick is a professor, released a statement Thursday regarding the situation. Quote, Troy University officials have received no evidence of violations of university policy or of law, the statement reads. Any charges or claims will be investigated following procedures established in the faculty and staff handbook and consistent with the laws of the state of Alabama. Because the community was like digging.
Fire him.
Was like digging through fucking Patrick's like work history and social media posts and even like
They were trying to
curriculum.
dox him, basically.
Yes, like curriculum that he had taught at the college
Oh my
and trying to
God.
like get him fired and fuck up his life.
It's the same people as like all the critical race theory, like public forum bozos.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For real. So the pastor who's been going after this fucker cited various web pages that include a podcast with Faircloth discussing BDSM issues as they relate to mental health, and Faircloth's university bio, which states he has an interest in BDSM issues.
Okay, none of which is illegal. Show me
Nope.
the fucking crime.
Yeah.
I know.
It's
Fair-
his land,
Yeah.
his sex life, his
His
private
job.
life, his interests. None of it is illegal
and it's
or
like-
has anything to fucking do with you if you don't attend the event.
There's also nothing online. Even the Reverend like can't claim that there's anything online that specifically says that Patrick Faircloth is even into BDSM. He's just openly studying, at least from like an analytical and intellectual and academic standpoint, possible connections between potential like mental health
It also doesn't fucking matter if
diagnoses
he
and
is.
BDSM.
Yeah,
It wouldn't matter if
doesn't
he was.
matter.
It's just so funny that it's like, I'm just going to pull these little threads and just see what falls apart. And the school is like, this is fine. Like, you didn't do
Sometimes
anything
I
wrong.
think about if like conservatives were to ever try to dox or whatever the three of us, and it's like, you know what?
Everyone already knows
fucking-
everything.
Fucking listen to our 250 plus episodes that are all
have
2
fun.
hours long. Fucking
Yeah.
listen to every minute of it. I
Yep.
fucking welcome you.
Enjoy.
Pull as many clips as you want.
Go ahead. Faircloth did not deny the material found online. He said he is not ashamed about the factual things that people can find about his beliefs. But he also declined to comment further, stating that he felt no need to defend his personal views. Quote, it basically reminds me of the Salem witch hunts. People want to find anything they can and any kind of negative thing to try to lay it at your door, he said. Reynolds said some Spring Hill area residents and church members are concerned about other events that may be occurring at the campground. Websites reference an event called, quote, Leather in the Pines, advertised for 2016.
Ooh, I like
and again
that.
for May 2018. I know. I'm like, I want this to just be a big kinky fucking campground. I hope all of this is
Leather
real.
in the pines.
Leather in the Pines, baby.
Oh my God, don't tell Scott.
He would be, well, he'd have to go back in time. But we can see if there's a new and improved
upcoming.
Leather in the Pines.
I'm
And
sure he's
COVID.
on their newsletter.
he's probably been.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The event is described online as, quote, an annual education conference in Alabama, of which the primary purpose is to provide training and education for members of the leather community and those who wish to learn more about the leather community. According to an online post, the event is scheduled to come again this year, but Faircloth declined to comment on other events held at the campground, saying that he did not want to fuel hatred. Quote, there was a group down here recently planning a pride parade, Faircloth said. the people out in this community, if they knew LGBT folks would be here, they'd have the same hateful things to say, in my opinion. I'm not going to talk about events that happen or don't happen here. It's a private campground and it's none of their business.
Well, same people, 30 years ago or even 20 years ago would have been railing against events that were not segregated.
Yup.
Like, fuck these people.
Get with it.
Yep.
Glow up.
Yup.
Glow up.
So I like to think that the Faircloths aren't total prudes, that like they're actually kinky little peanuts, but they like live in fucking rural Alabama.
They were
and
scared for their lives. They were
immediately-
intimidated.
Yeah, I think they immediately tried to protect themselves when the neighbors started getting their panties in a bunch and were just like, oh, we wouldn't do that. We'll cancel it. Which, like, that fucking sucks. But I kind of respect the choice because it's like, this is your community. You have to deal with these fucking people every day.
And you never know if somebody's going to rock up with weapons or
and that's
if
not
the
to say-
attendees at your, on your land are
People
going
can
to be at
infiltrate.
risk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's not to say that like, I just think it's equally admirable and fine whether you cancel the event for the safety of yourself and the attendees and your family, or you fucking stand your ground and go through with it. Like, it's fine. Whatever
We're not
you
in their
decide to do
shoes. We don't know all the details.
I'm not
going
gonna
to make that
judge.
call. Yeah.
I'm not going to fucking judge it. I cannot say that if I weren't like surrounded by neighbors who were fucking going after my minor kid and trying to get me fired from my job and sending me fucking death threats to my mailbox, I'd probably be a little apprehensive about it too. So I totally get it.
Yeah.
I don't know. But the good Reverend Keith will stop at nothing to uncover that Faircloth smut, and I hope he has a nice time trying it.
I'm sure he's enjoying every minute of it.
Oh, you know
Reverend
he is.
Keith.
Ish.
Keith.
Queef. Reverend Queef.
The way you
And that's my
Reverend
case.
Keith.
Oh, God. Reverend Keith.
Keith.
All right. Well, thank you to our fan picker, Reverend Beth Roper.
Keith.
Beth.
Reverend Beth.
Reverend.
Beth.
I've been screaming so loud that I'm hoarse and I can't do the voice.
Just have some nice warm stew. It'll just coat your
Yum.
throat.
Stew me.
So
Fucking stew
So
me.
stew me.
All right. Well, that's our fucking episode.
Well, we will see you next week.
Bye-bye.